Now, on trade policy, the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement and the C-suite agenda is the focus of the CFO luncheon series held in Lagos. Now, this is as global economic realities are beginning to raise concerns about the future of trade within the African continent. It presented CFOs the opportunity to deliberate on having the conversation on a boardroom level for proper positioning. For the French government, it was an opportunity to reiterate its support for regional initiative and push for proper implementation.
What it means for us is that we need to increase the shock absorption capacity of our economy. We need to increase domestic value creation. We need to strengthen linkages, value chain linkages, whether it is in Nigeria or whether it's regional. I think both are really important in this case. And what do we need to build? We need to build a strong institutional capacity to make sure that the so-called conducive environment is there for investors to have the confidence to come into our economy. We need to build a strong infrastructure and logistical base to be able to serve as an enabler for industrialization. We need a new model of public-private partnerships. Resources are limited, and government alone cannot drive it. Doesn't have the expertise. So a new form of partnering between the public, private, and multilateral institutions is key in being able to address many of these constraints that we have, and building a knowledge economy.
We reaffirm our commitment to the full operationalization of the African Continental Free Trade Area as the primary engine for Africa's economic development and value chains, to strengthen the ability of local industries to compete in regional and global markets, and to diversify and secure global supply chains. And this is very much important to do global and local cooperation in different markets. This is also a continued joint focus on accelerating local capital markets to develop scale domestic capital mobilization and to develop access to long-term local currency finance.
Now, the luncheon presented an opportunity for more queries and investigations of the AFCFTA. Now, for these respondents, they are of the opinion that the process should be complete.
Why is a 1.3 billion market? But we need to question that further as to what is the purchasing power of the 1.3 billion market. That's another thing we need to look at. But still and still, the AFCFTA is, if done properly, because it's beyond just the nomenclatures and the possibilities and the promises it comes with. There has to be proper implementation, right? Within the regional bloc, where do you have subset regional alignments already, from the Francophone African-speaking, the Anglophone African-speaking countries, how do we break these blocks to ensure that everybody is doing business within the African continent? For example, there was an issue that was raised today. You want to do business amongst other African countries, and you need to even get a visa from other African countries to get there, right? So there is no ease of passage in terms of movement. How do you, if you cannot move, how would your goods move from country A to country B? So these are issues that has to be looked at. If it's economic integration, it should be done, and it should be done properly.
I think it's going to drive regional interconnectivity and trade. And what that means to the common man on the street, if I can use that word, is your business can become Africa's business, your market can become Africa, and your opportunity can also become Africa. So Nigeria is a big player when it comes to the implementation of AFCFTA. And what that means is a lot of things you see the government do, from the policies, the fiscal policies, even the infrastructure that they support with the likes of AfriXim and PAPS. It's driving the implementation. So absolutely, Nigeria is driving the implementation, and we expect every organization to be prepared to take benefit.